Welcome to Straight from the Muzzle, folks, where we're anything but straight. My name is Space.
And I'm Dear.
And we welcome you to our show, which is about what today?
Today, we are giving out tips for commissioning artists in the fandom.
Now, we've done similar topics like this before, like commissioning a fursuit, commissioning art, but we've never really gone into detail about how to go about commissioning just in general. And that covers like everything in the fandom, not just fursuits, but practically anything, like whether it's plushies or artwork, traditional, digital, or even doing a fursuit. We've covered those topics during those topics, but we've never actually done like a broad version of this. So we thought we might as well go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Now, we do want to point out that we are credible for doing this topic, but because I have brought on Dear Dog, who's an artist.
Hooray.
Hooray!
Yippee!
That makes us credible for doing it. Yes. Plus, we've done this like several times before, so we kind of know what we're talking about.
I've been drawing in the fandom for 14 years now?
And I've been commissioning for quite a while, so I kind of know what to expect.
Yeah.
But we're going to go over a few things for you guys to kind of digest. So let's start with actually, first, before we do that, I'm just going to say it. Happy birthday to me.
Yeah. Yes. Happy birthday, Space.
It won't be my birthday when you listen to this.
No, but right
my birthday is on December 1st. So you're probably thinking, why would you record on your birthday? Well, I've got nothing else going on, so might as well. Nothing happens until the evening, so I don't really care. How have you been?
Me? I've been good. I've been vibing, drawing, working. Same old.
Same-o.
Same old.
She's just being a deer.
Yeah. Doing what a deer can.
With all your fun drawings.
Yes.
If you guys ever join the chat, like in our friend group, Deer does post a ton, like a good
in the
amount
Telegram.
Of her drawings, and they're really cute and really cool looking.
Yeah, I'm constantly posting doodles in the Telegram.
Like the drip one, that was a cute one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, like I've seen Deer's artwork from the time she started with us when we were for media to where we are now. I've seen Dear Dog's art grow exponentially. So it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, because it was been on the team now for what? Oh, I have no idea.
A
long time.
We'll just say a while.
Yeah, a very long time.
I legit don't know. No, I just know that it's definitely more than 5 years.
Yeah,
maybe 10
well
years.
Over 5 years. Yeah, it could be close to that.
Yeah.
Because I was in I'd literally just started. So I must have been 16 when I first joined the team. And now so it must be coming on to 10 years because I'm 27.
Dang.
So over, possibly.
Wow.
Boof.
She is one of our, well, it's funny because we now make sure that we vet that you're at least 18.
Yes.
But beforehand, we had much more lax rules. But
yeah, and to be fair, I joined as a graphic artist. I didn't necessarily join as a host.
But
I said not out loud.
She did bait me.
What?
You kind of baited me to get you onto the team.
I mean, because I remember I put a message. You were back then. Used to do live streams. Used to live stream all your shows, and so I put a message in the live stream chat when you were doing a Q&A, like, "Are you looking for graphic designers?"
I'm like, sure, send me a portfolio, and then you sent me a portfolio, and I'm like,
and then I made a portfolio to send you because I didn't have one.
Like, done.
And I was so scared. Jesus Christ, I was terrified.
You're not old, but you are one of the oldest team members that stayed the longest. Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of joy. Yeah,
it's been cool seeing it all grow in our little community.
Seeing all the things that have happened, good and bad.
Yeah.
But she's here now, and it's all good. So going back onto the topic.
Oh yes. Yes.
Not that we were going side tangenting.
No, we would never.
No, that's not something we do.
No.
So we have the following topics that we're going to go over. So the first one that we'll go over is commissioning artists versus fursuit makers. Then we'll go over things to keep in mind before commissioning an artist or a fursuit maker, doing your research, reaching out to the artist, working with the artist, requesting revisions, and then providing feedback. I almost said feedback, but whatever. They'll figure it out. So let's go over the first topic, commissioning artists versus fursuit makers. So while the mediums and wait times can be very different, oftentimes the commissioning process is very similar. The list we're about to go over will work for both. Let's go over the first part of the list, which is things to keep in mind before commissioning an artist and a fursuit maker. Why don't you go over the triangle?
Cool. So as a general rule of thumb, when it comes to commissioning any kind of artist, and I'm going to include fursuit makers as artists. I'm just going to say it as one thing to be easier for right now, because they are artists, technically. So as a general rule, you can only really pick two, fast, cheap, or high quality. If you get it quickly and it's cheap, it probably won't be high quality. If it's cheap and it's high quality, it probably is going to take a while to finish. And if it's high quality and you get it quickly, it probably won't be cheap. There are options, obviously, for all three. That's why it's so important to really vet your artist, which we'll go into in a bit, and figure out what is going to be right for you and what exactly it is that you want, I guess, in your product.
This is a triangle that we've had for ever since we've had Sparrow, because she came up with it. It's not necessarily something that's brand new. She just kind of used it inspiration. There's versions of this available if you just like type in like art triangle. But that's probably going to show you triangle art. But but the whole point of it, like it says, is you have these 3 points. You have fast, good, and cheap. And then you have to pick two, but you're always going to sacrifice the last one. So, and there's only really 3 options you can go by, and there's really no way to get around it. And then, you know, there is that blue moon, once in a lifetime thing where you might actually get all 3, but I wouldn't count on it. In fact, I would say about 99.99% of the time, it's going to be 2 and you're going to sacrifice 1. So let's go over budget. So you don't want to buy on an impulse buy. If you can't put your money where your mouth is, for artists, time is money. Asking for a quote or taking time to set up a slot just to pull out due to lack of funds is disrespectful to the artist. Have you had that happen before?
I have. I will say I think it's kind of a case by case thing. Obviously, if an artist has prices listed on their website, and so you can clearly see what the prices are, and then you go to them and tell them that you want that for a specific price, and then you change your mind last minute. Obviously, that is quite disrespectful. But if they don't have a price list and you just go and ask for a general quote, and then as long as you're straightforward with them, I think it's fine. Like if somebody comes to me and is like, hi, I just want to know prices right now. I'm not sure if I want to or not yet. Then, you know, I think that's fine. You can do it in a way that is kind of respectful, but.
Would it be okay if like, depending like the time of year, is it okay for a person that come in commission to ask if there's any discounts going on, or should they just assume the prices are the way they're set?
When it comes to getting stuff commissioned, I probably wouldn't ask for a discount, only because obviously when you're commissioning an artist, they're putting time and effort into making something for you. It's not really fair to ask them to reduce your prices. It's not like a marketplace where you're trying to haggle, you know? I think if you have a lower budget, it's fair to say to an artist, this is my budget. What can I get for this price, if anything? I think that's completely fair. But I wouldn't be like, hey, I want this, this, and this. Can you give me a discount? Can you do it for cheaper than you've said? I don't like your prices. Cut them down. That's kind of rude.
I do know that there are some artists out there that they have like lists. So depending if you have something that they've always wanted to draw, but no one ever commissions them, they may have a discounted list only if you choose what it's on that list. Now, not very many people do that. In fact, I want to say maybe a very select few. I know that some fursuit makers will do it.
Yeah, I think I've only ever really seen it with fursuit makers, to be honest.
I think it was Beast Cub that I think did one.
Maybe. I've seen it with a couple, I think. But
well, they'll have like, we'll make the exception. We'll bump you to the front of the line if you choose to do one of these 3 things.
Yeah.
The thing is if you do something like that, you're not getting what you want. You're doing what they want.
It's more of like an artist choice kind of thing.
Exactly. So it's something you kind of give up. Again, I wouldn't really put this at the front of the line and say this is a possibility, because generally it's not. With most artists that I've come across, I don't think I've ever actually seen this as an option. I've only seen it with fursuit makers.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Having a budget is very important. A lot of people, especially young people, don't really tend to think of this. So in reality, you need to think about things that are important. Those things come first. For instance, bills. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people on Twitter, on Fur Affinity, Facebook, wherever, say that, oh, I just got this, I don't have enough money to pay this bill. And then literally a couple of days later, they post a picture of art that they commissioned.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, it could have been art that they commissioned well before this bill was coming up. But at the same time, it's almost bad timing. If you're, I'm not going to say poor, if you're just in a financial situation where you can't get art done, that should not be on your radar.
No, that's not the priority.
No. It's not. And though, it's not something that the artist has to worry about. It's just in general, in your position, you need to be aware of what you can and can't spend. I was telling Felix about this last night over dinner, and I just don't fully understand how some people do this in the fandom. But there's a couple of artists that I follow on Fur Affinity, and I like to keep my submissions clean, so I nuke them like every other day or every like once a week, just because I don't want to see it. Felix has never nuked any of his stuff, so they're in like the 30 to 40,000 like submissions. I'm like,
what is that?
How are you looking through all of
Is that on FA?
I don't understand it. I really don't.
Did you say that was FA?
Yeah.
See, I've not been on my Fur Affinity account in a long time. I'd be so curious to see how many notifications I have.
I don't really post on Fur Affinity as much anymore.
No, but my subscriptions, I currently have 3,968 subscription notifications from Fur Affinity.
Oh my God.
Because I've not opened it. This is the first time in fact, is this even my... Oh, that isn't even the most recent account, I don't think. I don't know.
My Fur Affinity.
I haven't been on in so long. I think I have a couple different accounts just because over the years I've tried it and then been like, I don't like it.
So mine's pretty clean. I only have 12 subscriptions or 12 submissions and 3 journals. I'll be honest, I never look at any of the journals. I get you want to say something, but do people really care? I'm not. Let's just be honest. Everyone's there to see the art, not what's going on in your head.
Speak your truth, but that doesn't mean we have to read it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
So there's this one artist that I follow, and every other day I'll clear out the submissions, and I swear to God, they've got at least 8 to 10 new commissions posted.
Yeah. Which is...
As far as I can tell, this person's not an artist. So I don't know if they just have a bajillion dollars worth of cash flow.
Yeah, some furries are just like that. Some of them, listen, there's a reason why there's a furries are rich stereotype.
Yeah. And I think that might be the case here
for the government or IT.
Because I'll look through it and there's different art styles. So they're definitely going to different artists, but they're posting so much every week. And I'm just like, who has this kind of money just to post so much freaking money?
Also, you know what? They're supporting so many artists. I kind of respect it.
That's true.
I kind of respect it. If you've got the disposable income and you're able to do that in a way that's secure, kind of iconic. Also, I will note as well when it comes to this, especially when it comes to pulling out at the last minute, it also, I would say, as much as it can be disrespectful, we do understand that emergencies happen. Suddenly unexpected things come up, medical bills, for example, that can mean you may have to pull out. I would say that is not disrespectful. That is fine. You are fine. If it's an emergency situation, you do what you got to do. Just apologize, and as long as you're polite about it, you apologize, etc., you are completely fine.
And the silver lining to that, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but that does mean that the slot does open. And if the artist feels like they can take it on, they may post that they have an open slot, which means if you didn't have a chance before and it was taken, now you do.
True. Very true.
Which is quite nice. So, yeah, like I said, I see a ton of them, but I didn't really think about it. You're right. They're giving a more opportunity for other artists that they can commission, and therefore they're seeing a lot of that. So it does give you the option. That's kind of what I like about Fur Affinity is you get all these different types of art done, and then you can go and see the artists themselves and see, oh yeah, maybe I can get that, or no, maybe I can't. It's like It's on my wish list that one day I really want to commission. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the name. I bet it's in my inbox. Do I still have an inbox? Is that a thing?
I have no idea.
How do you?
Every so often, I'm like, maybe I would pop off on Fur Affinity, but then I'm like, I only draw safer work stuff. So listen, respectfully, I feel like to pop off on Fur Affinity, it's a lot of NSFW.
Yeah, it definitely is. I have,
and I don't do that.
Depending like on
people do though, to be clear.
Depending on like the show topic we're doing, if I use a Fur Affinity reference, I will toggle the switch on to be non-NSFW. So I just see the clean stuff. So it makes it easier.
I wish I could draw NSFW stuff. I would make so much more money.
Sex does sell.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I ain't built like that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
I can't find the person, but there is a person that draws the most detailed dragon art I have ever seen. I mean, it is just to the T, phenomenal. Their prices, though, are so expensive. So it's a bucket list thing. It's something that one day I'll get. I don't have a dragon character, but they do other types of species, and they're just so beautiful. They're the kind of like drawings that are very poster-esque, and they have different features. Like they make notes like, they draw a line here and this is what this is. And it has like a full-on, storyline going on to it. And then the background is just absolutely beautiful. It's amazing. It's something that I would definitely like frame with like a good frame and stuff, not like a crappy $1.
Yeah, I have so much respect for artists like that.
And so that I would definitely save up for, but I do have other priorities.
Yes.
The next thing you need to know is, do you have a design ready to go? Artists and fursuit makers need a solid reference to go off of. Many artists will not work on a description alone unless we're specifically commissioning them to design a character for you or to make a reference sheet. So reference sheets, I think, are the most important thing when once you've established yourself in the fandom in whatever way, coming up with something that represents you is a good thing to do. You make reference sheets though. So what should one expect when commissioning a reference sheet?
Okay, I'm going to go over both. I'm going to go over what you should make sure that you have in a reference sheet if you're commissioning an artist for a normal drawing, and what you want, and obviously what to expect when commissioning a reference sheet. So when bringing a reference sheet to an artist, make sure it's high quality. It's fine, it's workable, but it is kind of the worst when you're trying to work on something for someone and they've given you like the lowest quality pixelated, like low quality is in literally like resolution, not as in art, but as in like low resolution, like all pixelated, like tiny little thing where you can't really properly color pick because all the colors are like pixelated all over the place. It's very hard. Make sure there are flat colors so that once again you can color pick. If there's not flat colors on the main drawing, I would have a little chart off to the side that has the flat colors just so that it's clear. Yeah, that's really the main thing I would say. And if you're commissioning someone for a reference sheet, I would make sure you come in with things like, I would make sure you know what you want, first of all. So have a clear idea in mind. So come in with like reference images, maybe go on Pinterest to make a mood board, have a species in mind, have a color palette in mind, maybe even if you're not an artist, do a little like rough doodle just to show kind of vibe that you could want. Maybe have a species, or definitely have a species in mind, but maybe have some other designs that you like that the artist can look at and maybe reference certain points of them. Obviously not exactly, but use it as a bouncing point,
Dear Dog's designed mine reference sheet.
Yeah.
I really have no complaints on Dear Dog. So whatever Dear creates, I absolutely just fall in love with.
Thank you.
And then generally when I have a design that I want, I give Dear Dog a rough kind of thought of what I think I would like to have done. But then one thing I like to do, just because I feel like it really brings out the best in an artist, is I like to give them free will of what they want to do with the image or the design. So most of the time I'll just be like, here's what I was thinking, go for it. And I just let them surprise me.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Just okay?
No, that's good. It's fun. Well, I like it. I think it's fun. It can be stressful sometimes, only because it's like, oh God, I need to make sure they like what I'm giving them,
True.
But so long as I guess the person who is commissioning you kind of acknowledges that they're going to get what you give them, And I think in those ones, it's just extra important to be like sending sketches and making sure you are checking with like every step of the process to be like, is this good? Do you like this? Do you want me to change this?
Which you do a lot, and I really appreciate it.
Yes, I do.
And this actually kind of rolls into the next thing about artists that do check in with their patrons is doing your research, because not all artists will do that, which can be a little annoying, but that's why you have to do the research. So the first thing is be sure to look through your chosen artist gallery. If what you are looking for doesn't fit what they have experience in, it's best to look elsewhere.
Now, I will say there are exceptions to this. For example, there are times when Spaces come to me with things.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I've been like, Space, are you sure you want me to do that? In fact, it's happened with a few different customers that I've had in the past where I've made it very clear, but like, are you sure you want me to do this? Because this isn't something I really have any experience doing. I'm happy to try, but I can't guarantee it's going to be like
the roasting one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but also stuff like I did that one commission for you with like the big like alleyway drawing in the background.
Oh yeah. The one where
and I'm
kind of resting.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think it turned out very cool. I liked it. To be fair, every time that happens to me, I'm always like, okay. I'm like, oh God, are you sure you want me to do this? And then normally the customer's like, yes, I trust you. And I'm like, okay, that's on you. And then it always turns out very cool in the end. So it works out. I need to have more faith, but yeah.
Generally, I do it because I think I know that you can do it. In fact, I sometimes, often more than usual, I'll push Dear Dogs' artist boundaries, not necessarily in a bad way. Like there are a few that I have kind of done where it kind of made her just like, I'm not really comfortable doing this type of thing. And now I know that, and I don't push those boundaries anymore. I know that there are some artists that just like, that's just the weird thing. So like, if you're not a furry artist, right, and you're just doing drawings, I know that drawing hands and feet are really difficult.
Yeah.
But in the furry fandom, I've noticed kind of like an opposite. Drawing clothes can be really difficult.
I love drawing clothes.
I think clothes are really cool.
Maybe it's because I also draw people.
Felix has a hard time drawing clothes, but with the art that he puts out, I would have never known that he has a difficulty of doing it.
No, the stuff he puts out is like really like beautiful and kind of like, it's cartoony, but it's still like very detailed.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
And I asked him, I'm like, how the hell did you even know to do that? But there are going to be some artists you'll see that they're really good. Like they've got phenomenal art, but they really lack in certain things like clothing. So if your reference sheet or your idea of a commission deals with clothing, but the artist you have in mind doesn't specialize in that, don't push it.
Well, like even stylistically, like if you're wanting like a realistic portrait of your character, don't go to like me who does like very toony 2D like art, because I won't be able to do that. I can try, but that unlike the weird background, that will look bad because I don't do that. Just make sure stylistically their style is what you want. And if you're wanting something in a different style, go to an artist who does that style, would be my general advice.
Like, I wouldn't come to you and ask you to make a background of like a cityscape because that's not what you do.
No. And I'd be willing to try, but...
You'd be willing to try, but I don't think I would want to push you in that direction.
I would suffer.
Yeah, and like you said, it puts stress on the artist. And so when you're putting stress on an artist, then they might make mistakes or they may not create the quality that you're expecting. And then it's kind of a letdown.
Yeah, especially when there are so many artists who I can guarantee do specialize in exactly what you want.
Yeah. And, and that's probably because they're really good at that, but not everyone does that. So do your research. If it doesn't work out for you, it's not going to work out in the end. Kind of just think of that as a two-parter. The next thing to do is to check to see if they have a public queue. Often they'll use Trello. I know Sparrow uses Trello. We use Trello just to post pictures to attach to episodes. Do you use Trello?
I don't, but I also only take like 1 or 2 commissions at a time. I don't take a lot of commissions. And when I do, I generally work pretty quick. Yeah,
and I've seen a couple people use Trello, but you don't necessarily need to. The one thing I don't like about Trello, and it's just come up multiple times, so I'm probably going to end our account with them, is that I'm not saying Trello's a bad company, but Trello has had several breaches. And I have certain things set up, certain programs that every time there's a breach, it automatically emails me. And I've gotten multiple of them from Trello. So I haven't used any sort of financial stuff with them because I don't want to pay for their service. So kind of be aware of that as well.
Though I think they're more useful if you're someone who maybe does like commission slots where they'll do like batches of like 5-10 at a time. You know, if you've got like a lot of commissions going at a time and you're like in like a kind of constant loop of commissions, then it's definitely worth, I think, having something like that.
But there might be like other programs to use. Artists and makers with long queues that do not seem to be updated frequently may not be the best choice. So it seems like Trello may not be the best for long queues. But
it's not, I don't think it's that. I think it's more so that if a artist or like fursuit maker has a massive queue on Trello and they're not updating it, or it's not frequently being updated to show that things are actually getting done, then maybe consider whether that artist is like reputable, or like whether there's potential for it to end up being kind of a scam, whether they're going to end up not finishing things, you know?
Yeah, and at the same time, why would you want to be stuck in a really long queue to begin with?
People do, though. People, like, so I've seen artists with queues that are like, well, they've got like 50 different things going on at once, which I can't imagine anything more stressful. But you know what I'm like, Space, with commissions. I'm like, every day I'm like, I'm working on it.
Yeah, like seriously, you are though. But I just don't like, I've seen long queues go where people are like 6 months to a year out. And I'm just like, I don't want to wait a year.
No, I think for fursuits, you kind of understand it because they're a lot bigger. It's a lot more like intensive. And some artists as well have processes that are maybe a lot slower. They do a lot more like detail, kind of big detail drawings that take a long time to finish.
The problem with a fursuit artist or a maker that has a super long queue is the further back you are, if there's something that happens to go wrong in the first couple of slots, it does require more time, and then it pushes back your time further. So I guess it really just depends. Do you want to wait a long queue? It kind of goes along with that triangle, you know? If you want it cheap and high quality, it probably will take a while to finish. But it could also be that if you want it high quality and it's expensive, you might also have to take a while until it finishes.
Yeah. Yep.
Check to see. This is funny. I know I already went over that. Never mind. I wish I could check these off. I don't have permission to do this. Should have made it editable.
Whoops.
Check for positive reviews or bewares. Fursuitreviewers.com is a great resource to research fursuit makers. Artistbewares.info can be a good source for sorting through the shady artists and fursuit makers. I'm aware of Artists with Beware. Do you use Artist Beware?
I'm going to be honest, I don't really have the funds at the moment to be commissioning a lot of things. So I haven't commissioned art in a long time. I've commissioned maybe like 1 or 2 things in like recently, and they're kind of mainly from artists I know. So I'm less like seeking out artists. So I don't really need to do this as much. But if you're actively out searching for artists,
it's something you can do. Yeah, keep in mind,
recommended if you're getting something bigger and more expensive like a fursuit.
Yeah, I would probably use that. My only thing about websites like this is that it's hard to tell if it's actually the artist that made the mistake or if it's a person that's just pissed off because they didn't get what they want, even though they were told up front this is what they would get. And so therefore they went and wrote a bad review. So when it comes to sites like this, while very helpful, I'd also take it with a grain of salt just because it's hard to tell. Now, if you go to one and you can clearly see that there's a ton of reviews on there and you can maybe do some other research, I wouldn't just, use Artist Beware or fursuitreviews.com.
I will say Fursuit Reviews isn't actually coming up for anything for me.
Yeah,
it's coming up with hotel deals.
Try fursuitreview.com without the S.
Oh, yeah. That's probably what it was meant to be.
It's really detailed. I like it, but I've also noticed that sometimes with sites like this, there's just too much information. And so it's really hard to figure out what it is that you like and don't like. Same with Artist Beware. So I kind of wish there was another site called Customer Beware because I feel like it's not always the artist's fault. It's mostly sometimes it's the person that's commissioning it who's their fault. And I feel like that should be something that could be created. Now, that could open up a whole can of worms, but it does allow artists to go and be like, oh, this is someone that's trying to commission me. Maybe I don't want to be involved with something like this because they have so many bad reviews. It'd be kind of like an Uber, I guess, like a car service, like this was the person that I picked up and they were really shitty kind of a thing. And it kind of knocks down their reviews. So it makes it easier for artists to say yes and no, I don't want to do this commission for this person. So those are some options. I just think in general, do your research just in general.
Yeah, I would say.
Do a brief background check. Check the artist's social media pages, Google them, etc. This is an easy way to see if your morals and values match up, to see if you are comfortable not only supporting the artist financially, but also working with them on a project that involves a character that you care about.
Yeah, you don't want to commission someone and then only to find out that they have been into some like really shady stuff.
Or like, I've seen some things where people have commissioned, they're like halfway through the payments. And then recently news comes out that they don't support trans rights or they're against the gay community. And that makes it really difficult at that point because it's like, crap.
Yeah, what do you do?
Yeah. I think in that kind of situation, you've already invested half of your money. You can either cut your losses and go. But I figure at this point, I would just continue to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe, if they've completed the thing already, yes. If it's like a payment plan and then like they won't start until full payment or whatever, or if it's they've done like, if it was like a drawing, if they've done the thing where like, oh well, if you pay me like some of it, then I'll do the sketch up front, and then like small up front for the sketch, and then you pay me the rest and I finish the drawing. I would maybe just be like, I'm good, we'll leave it at the sketch. I'm all right.
This kind of ties into something towards the bottom, but read the terms of service.
Oh, yes.
The FAQ provided by the artist. If an artist or a fursuit maker does not have this, that probably is a good sign that it's not good.
Yeah. Yes, that's a good reminder. I need to update mine.
For those who may not have gotten art yet, who listen to us, can you give some light on what a terms of service is or an FAQ?
So it's just something you should read through. It gives some general like rules that an artist has. So basically they're saying, if you commission me, you're agreeing to follow these rules that I've set. So they can be things like, in mine, I've got a clause about once I've started working on something, I don't
refund.
Yeah, or I think I do offer some refunds, but it's like I can only do, depending on how far along the drawing is, if the drawing's halfway done, then I can offer like a 50% refund, but I won't do full refund past once the drawing has started. Things like that, as well as like sometimes it includes things like requirements for commissioning. So it can be some artists might not accept commissions from people who are under 18. Some may not, or some may have stuff in there about like what they require as far as reference images go, how they like to be communicated with, things like that you're just agreeing to follow pre-commissioning or by commissioning them.
If you can, ask previous customers about their experience. This can be especially helpful if you do not see any reviews on your chosen artist or if you do not see any bewares about them online.
Yes.
So you can easily do like a Google search of a fursuit maker or an artist and then see if there's any people that have gotten art done by them.
I like to look up YouTube. I like to look up unboxings on YouTube and TikTok and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So you can actually see people open it and like look at it and look at the quality and show it off.
Look at the reactions.
Yeah, basically. Oh
yeah, I love this.
That's great. The visibility is so good.
Look at the fur detail.
Wow. Great.
Do a self-price check. Fursuit makers and artists often have price sheets that you can use to see what the base price for a commission may be. Do note that prices can increase depending on the type of art or fursuit you are looking for.
Yeah. If you've got something like a super detailed character that's going to take like way longer than someone who's just say got like a grey dog with like a spot on them, with like one spot, and that's all of the markings. If you've got like a character that has like a million markings, they've got like gradients, they've got horns, they've got wings, they've got like a million things going on, it's going to take the artist a lot longer, and the chances are that they will adjust the prices to reflect that time taken.
I was going to try to reference someone in our chat that quite often post like that they have commissions open and this is what they expect. They'll do like a base and then they'll say if you want an additional character, it'll be $20 more.
Oh, yeah, I know who you mean.
And then depending on the type, they'll do like a basic. They may do one that's lightly shaded, detail shaded, full color, blending, and there'll be different like additional $5 or $10 more for this. So there's those types of things too. If you're just looking to maybe just get something very simple, a sketch would be good.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Be sure to know how they accept payments. PayPal is the most common. Never make a payment under the friends or family option or using like Cash App, as they are not secure and do not provide the buyer protection. I don't know what the friends and family option is.
So when you're paying through PayPal, you can tick that you're sending it to friends and family. So it will change how the payment is processed, basically. But it means that if something happens and say the artist doesn't provide for some reason, you can't then dispute the payment because you've just sent it as like a gift, essentially.
That makes sense.
Although I will say, if sending it when you are sending it as a like payment for services, like you normally would for a commission, I think there is an option in there still where you can tick that you don't need a address, like a postal address, because otherwise it'll automatically flag up that it needs a postal thing, and it'll have a thing on there yelling at the artist to be like, "Hey, have you sent it out?" We'll be like, "No," because it's not getting sent out because there isn't one. Digital, please.
One thing that wasn't under this that is something that everyone needs to be aware of, and it's something that recently happened to someone in chat, and that's AI. Do you want to explain about this?
Yeah, and it's not always AI. Sometimes it's just like people
Scam
tracing
artists
and things like that. Yeah. So a reputable artist will never reach out to you in DMs. They will never reach out to you in DMs being like, "Hey, commission me." They won't do it. That's not something I've ever seen a single like artist do. However, there are a lot of scammers around at the moment who will do that. I would be willing to say 100% of the time it will be a scammer. They will give you art. A lot of the time I've seen that they like wildly overprice. Sometimes they don't. I think they just want money. They don't really care. And then what you'll get is normally either AI generated or traced. It just could be make you think it kind of just looks like beginner art. It's not. These people are guaranteed scam artists. It's just how it is, unfortunately. And a lot of people have been falling for it lately. But once you've sent that money, the chances are you are not getting it back. Well, from what I've seen from people, they will. I don't know this happens all the time, but some of them that I've seen will also then continue to badger you and be like, "Hey, commission me again. Hey, send me more money. Hey, and they can get quite nasty. They might also DM you just trying to talk at first, trying to make it seem like they just want to be friends, and then slip into the, "Hey, consider commissioning me," which is just not right.
That is a common tactic outside of just trying to get you to buy art. This is a common scam technique where they'll befriend you and become like buddy with you, and then they basically establish a trust, and then they use that trust against you to making you buy something. This is how people lose money, where they target older folks from other countries, just all of these types of things. If that happens, that's a huge red flag. So just be careful with something like that.
Yep.
Did you go over the background, the watermark?
Oh, yeah. And normally, for some reason, which is what makes me think it's basically in every single one of these that I've ever seen, every single account I've ever seen do this. Sometimes you have to be careful because the accounts can look very legitimate because they will hack artists' actual accounts and do this. Things like Discord accounts, normally Telegrams, sometimes Instagrams even. But normally the images that they upload will all have this stupid preview watermark that's like, it says the word preview and it's repeating over the whole image just constantly, which is what kind of makes me think it might be AI, because it's like one of the watermarks that the older like AI generation things used to spit out.
Yeah.
Before you would like pay for the full image. So yeah, and then if once they send you a version without the watermark, the chances are it'll have like a bad filter on to remove the watermark and it'll look kind of crappy. So yeah, it's look out for any watermark that's like covering the whole thing that just says preview. It won't say the artist's name. It will just say preview and normally have some kind of like image pattern as well.
And if this happens, you can always ask around to see if anyone else has had art done by this person. So you can get an idea if, oh, maybe this is a bad thing kind of a thing.
Ask for their social medias as well. And then check if their social media is like all recent. If it all has, because a lot of the time if you check the social media, that'll all also have the same watermark on it.
Our next goal, or not next, our goal, sorry. Our next thing to go over is reaching out to the artist. First, check to see if they are taking commissions before you reach out. Oftentimes, artists and makers will make opening announcements with directions on how to commission them.
So that's just a case of if there's an artist you like, just follow them on social media, keep up with their social media. They'll normally post if they're open. Yeah, it's that easy, really.
And if they're clearly closed and you know they're closed, don't ask them if they take a last minute commission. Just don't. It's obvious they're not available.
No.
Reach out to them using their listed method of contact. Some common methods are DMs, emails, Google Forms, and Telegram. If you find an artist that doesn't list, let's say, a specific social media, but you do find them on that specific social media, don't contact them via that one.
No.
It might be their one where they post art and stuff and they don't want to be flooded by constant, comments or emails requesting stuff to be done. That's got to be really annoying. When you message them, don't just say, hi.
Oh yeah, no. If anyone just messaged me saying hi, I will just assume you're a bot and block you. I'm so sorry. If anyone has ever just messaged me saying hi, because
I might do it now just to troll you.
I can't believe I'm gonna block Space. Friendship with Space over. It turns out he's been a bot this whole time.
It's like a generic thing in general. Just don't message someone, just say hi.
Yeah.
Like, have some body to it, Like, hi, how are you doing? My name's blank. That's better than just saying hi.
Ideally, if you're interested in commissioning someone, I wouldn't even just be like, hey, how's it going? I'm blank, because then I'll probably also still assume you might be a bot. To be honest, I would message. So I'd be like, hi. Maybe you could be like, hi, I'm blank. I'm interested in commissioning you. I was wondering if you have any slots available, for example.
Yeah.
Or I think the example that they gave was, hello, I saw you were open for commissions. Is the slot still available? Here's the character I'd like you to work with if so, and insert your reference here. You
want to be specific. Most artists and fursuit makers delete vague messages as they tend to be bots or minors.
Yep.
Minors. Have you ever had any commissions from minors?
Not that I'm aware of. Not in recent years. I'm sure I probably have at some points because I was a minor myself when I first started taking commissions. So I'm sure I probably did at some point. And to be fair, when I first started taking commissions, I didn't take actual currency. I took DeviantArt points. So there you go.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore, to be clear. It's been a while. But yeah, I don't think I have. At least nobody who's openly been like, hi, I'm a minor. Please let me commission you.
Except this charm bracelet that I made by myself.
Yeah. I assume that most of the time, and to be fair, I also, once again, I only do like safer work commissions. I keep it pretty professional with most clients. I don't really go on. I don't really tend to be super chatty with people who are commissioning me, unless they are previously my friend, Space, for example. But if there's somebody who has just messaged me for a commission, then I won't be super chatty with them anyway. So it's, as long as they send me the money. But I would probably avoid working with minors if you can. But it's hard to avoid if they don't say how old they are, and most people wouldn't. I'm not going to assume someone's a minor, but just speak to people respectfully. And also, it is different if you're doing NSFW commissions. Then you want to make sure, obviously, you're not drawing porn for kids. Please.
Porn for kids.
Yes, please don't do that. That is wrong.
They got to start somewhere. I'm just kidding.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. No. That is an oh, no, for sure.
Well, if they have to, make sure they don't start with you.
Oh,
it would be my advice.
Point them, be like,
don't be the one.
If you're interested in this, go to E621.
I wouldn't do that either. I would just say no. I'd say no. I'm okay, thank you. Though, come back in a few years.
Yeah, come back when you turn 18.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not before.
No, and otherwise, honestly, I would just avoid it. I would avoid, even for safe work stuff. I would, if you can, just avoid it. Like, avoid working with minors. It just seems like it's kind of asking for trouble. Because there is, you can be like, oh, well, I'll work with them if they have parental permission. But then how do you get parental permission? And how do you vet that they've had parental permission,
Yeah, I think the only way that you could really do that is if you had like a program, which you can sign up for. I don't know how much it is though, where they have to do ID verification and passport verification.
Yeah, it feels like a hassle, to be honest. And also, I personally wouldn't really feel comfortable asking for personal information from clients, I also wouldn't necessarily give obviously if you have to sometimes give them your address if you're commissioning something physical. I wouldn't directly give like loads of personal information to people you're commissioning, just because even if they're an artist you admire and you like a lot, you don't know them as a person, you don't know who they are, you don't know what's going on in their life, you don't know who could dox you. If drama comes up, you'd hope that no one would, but they could. It's not really worth getting your identity stolen.
And minors do tend to have drama.
That is true. That is also very true.
You have to realize in minors, when you're listening to this, you have to realize that your emotions are all over the place. Mm-hmm. They really are. That's a hot mess. Yeah. There are some minors that are really mature for their age, but for the rest of them, they're not. And so,
but even then, I think if they're really mature for their age, that's normally because they've been forced to grow up quick.
Yeah.
And even then, it normally means that they'll have other issues. I don't think it's any, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
It's a whole other thing.
Make sure to ask about wait times and public queues if you're unsure. It's better safe than sorry.
Yes.
It's never a bad thing, especially if like the website has been updated a lot and you're not quite sure, or maybe it says that their commissions are closed, but you can definitely tell that they're taking commissions. It could be that they just forgot to update their information. Mm-hmm, it never hurts to ask.
No, you're polite about it.
Yeah, but don't just be like, hi.
No, don't.
Don't.
No.
Everyone hates that.
Mm-mm. It's like even if my commissions are closed and it says they're closed, to be honest, obviously this isn't going to be the same for everyone. I always feel kind of honored when people reach out and ask me if they're open, because I'm like, oh, they want to commission me. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to feel wanted. I don't know. But as long as you're polite about it and you're nice and you're not pushy. There's some people who can be very pushy. Do not be pushy.
No one likes a pushy person.
Mm-mm.
The next area that we're going to be talking about is working with the artist. I'm going to say artist. Orf. Be sure about your character's details to make your artist's life easier. Whether this is through a DM, Google Drive folder, a Google Doc, or a Toy House link. I don't know what a Toy House link is.
It's a character hosting website. I have one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
The more references and inspiration images you have, the better, especially for more detailed art pieces.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll have to submit or put a link in there for Toy House. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's good. It's just you can put all of your characters on there, and then you can upload all of the art pieces you have with it has very good crediting system, so you can credit all the artists and stuff to make them. It's very cool. And then you've just got a little you've got a little area that stores all of the art pieces of your characters.
It's kind of like a portfolio for the person commissioning.
Yeah, it's like a portfolio of your character, literally, of everything that's ever been made for them. You can have a little folder for specifically their reference sheets.
That's cool.
It's good. Yeah, it's nice.
Be sure to discuss deadlines, completion goals, and how frequently updates may be sent to you. Every artist is different. An artist making a sketch for you may only give you one work in progress picture. An artist making a ref sheet may only give you 2 to 3, and a fursuit maker may give you dozens over the course of a year. Mm-hmm. Those are important. Make sure, this is also going under your research, make sure that they actually do things like this, or they may say it in their terms of service. If you're commissioning something and you haven't gotten an update about it, that might be a red flag.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just artists are busy. But yeah, it's worth checking in. Don't message them every day. Don't start hounding them. But if it's been months and you're not getting any updates, then yeah, it's worth being what is going on?
Right.
Oh, to be honest, even if it's been a few weeks, if it's been a few weeks and they don't have a trailer or something that's being frequently updated, then I think it is worth maybe, messaging and just be like, hey, what's the deal? What's going on?
That kind of rolls into the next thing.
Yeah.
Having healthy boundaries. Getting art or a fursuit is exciting, but messaging your artists excessively can make them uncomfortable. Be sure you are keeping healthy boundaries and are reading the room when messaging your artist. Do you want to go over that?
Yeah. So it's important. I said it earlier. It's, I think, important to remember that even though you have been following an artist for a long time, you love their work, yada, 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 you'll want to support them. You guys aren't friends. You're paying them for a service. It's kind of a professional transaction. And, sometimes people can become friends through stuff like this, but don't just start like every day being like, how are you? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And like messaging literally like constantly. Because it can get uncomfortable. It can get uncomfortable if you're just trying to like do work for someone and they're being wildly inappropriate, which to be fair, I have had some experience with. Not from anybody not from anyone on Telegram, not from anybody, actually not from furries, funnily. It wasn't a furry commission. But yeah, I had someone who kept sending me pictures of their favorite celebrities naked. And I had to be like, please stop.
My God.
Yeah, I had to be like, please stop. Please. I don't want to know.
That's so awkward.
It was really weird.
Why would so?
I don't know. They are on my blacklist. They did.
If I were to do that, it would be like.
To be fair,
like
they
Jeff
did also
Goldblum,
then start like harassing me, which
or
was
like Blobby
weird.
That's naked.
Oh yeah, see, but I expect it from you, Space.
I never like outright send you inappropriate art, but I would send you like stupid things that are that could be close to that.
I'd be offended if you didn't. But the difference is that me and Space are friends, and we've been friends for a long time. Yeah. Whereas if it's like I say, you're commissioning someone who you've maybe never spoken to before, it's just like a random artist on Blue Sky or whatever it is people use now. Then yeah, they don't know you. They probably don't know anything about you. You may have been following them a long time, but they haven't been following you a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be appropriate. Don't send anybody any pictures of naked celebrities unsolicited.
I'm just gonna send you like a naked lizard, which is just a lizard.
It was all just white men as well. It was all just
wow.
naked white men.
He was a naked Jay Leno.
It was just like naked middle-aged white men. I was like, okay, thank you.
Weird.
No, thank you. But yeah,
That's gotta be like my favorite little thing that I know now about you.
We've got to do a commission horror stories at some point. I have a few.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I bet we could get like Kira on that as well because she's an artist.
Yeah. That'd be
awesome.
To be fair, I've actually not had that many, considering how long I've been doing commissions for. I've not had that many bad experiences, which is very fortunate. But the ones I have had have been some doozies.
The next thing is requesting revisions. Don't be scared to ask for revisions when you given whips, which are works in progresses. Yeah. Early you ask for a change, the easier it'll be on the artist. Asking for revisions late in the game may result in service fees. Do you do service fees?
Oh, what if they ask for a lot of changes at the last minute?
Yeah.
I can. It depends. It depends on how extreme the change is, and it depends on how many changes they've asked for. And normally I request that people commissioning me any changes to poses and things that they ask for that to be changed when I send them the sketch. Because there's a reason why I send so many like work in progress screenshots and will ask if they want any changes made. Once I've done the line art, it becomes a bit of a hassle to then redo that because line art takes a while for me.
Yeah.
So at that point, if they're asking for like extra details to be added, if they want like major changes to be made to the pose, I might ask for some more money just because it's gonna like add a lot of time to the amount of time I will be working on the commission. Yeah, I'll normally allow like a few small changes post like the lines and the colors being done. I will allow for some like small changes. That's fine, but yeah, it's gonna be different for every artist. So
This next bit kind of goes back in with working with the artist, but if you're commissioning a fursuit, be sure to get clear work in progress images and videos if available.
Mm-hmm.
That one is kind of self-explanatory. We really don't need to go in further with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is providing feedback. Once you're happy with the final product, leave a positive review or thank the artist for their work. This helps build a positive community.
Mm-hmm.
If for some reason you're not happy, still feel free to leave a review and leave feedback to the artist.
I would maybe, depending
this is
on
kind of like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, depending on the scale of how bad it is, like how bad the situation is. If it's something small, I would maybe just give that feedback to the artist personally. I wouldn't like go and post on social media and like make a massive deal, because that kind of thing can really like make it hard for an artist. Once there's like bad kind of press about you, it can really stagger like your growth, and it's kind of sad. It would be sad to see that happen if it's something that's kind of minor that could be easily fixed, that maybe they're just not aware is an issue. But if it's something like major, then yeah. Yeah, I think it's fair to maybe consider leaving public feedback if it's like a very major issue.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
For fursuits, tag the maker in your photos. They love seeing the creations they worked hard on running around in the wild or on the internet. So that's a definite thing. And the same thing goes for art. Be sure to include the artist's name when you save the file. That way you don't lose it, and any credit to them properly if you re-upload it. That's a really good idea, because I can't tell you how much art I have in my folder, and I totally forgot who the artist was.
Yeah, it's tough.
And sometimes they sign it, but you can't really remember the name of their sign, so it's kind of hard.
Also, when Toy House is really good, because when I mentioned that really good like crediting system on Toy House, basically you can upload a drawing. You can upload a drawing to a specific character of a specific character, and then you can post a link to the artist's social media, and like they've got like specific like things under it to say like who drew it, what's their social media, where can you find them, what are they, yada yada. All the information about the artist you can post under the image, which is really helpful. I
guess one thing I thought of that, I've just never thought to do, and I probably could do it for some of the art. Nowadays, with not saying AI in general, but with a lot of engines out there, you can take the picture and upload it to, like, let's say Google Images to see if it can find that actual image that was done. Because it could be that the artist may have posted it on there for Affinity or other sites, and Google will find it, and then you can probably, I don't know, find the artist that way. That's more like searching for a needle in a haystack, but it's definitely an option. So that's pretty much everything you need to know, but let's do a recap of everything. Do you want to go over the recaps?
Yes. Give me 1 second.
Put you on the spot because I know how much you love it.
Oh, I love it so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Space. So to recap, the main points that we've covered that I think are important to remember are: be respectful. Artists are people too, so treat them with kindness and patience. Kindness and patience throughout the process. Be clear and concise. Provide enough detail about what you want, but avoid overwhelming the artist with too much information at once. Know what you want. Artists can only work with the information you've given them. Take time to think about your commission and clarify your vision. Understand the artist's limits. Don't pressure the artist to do something they're not comfortable with, whether it's the subject matter, deadlines, or style.
Or naked
or make
celebrities.
Naked celebrities. Yes. Stay within your budget. Furry art and fursuits can range in price, so make sure you're clear about what you can afford. It's better to commission something within your budget than to expect a complex commission if you can't pay for it.
And if anything, if you still have more questions, you can always email us about those. Or one thing I highly recommend doing is just joining our Telegram chat.
Yeah.
The reason being is because there's a lot of artists in there. There's a lot of people in there that have commissioned. Dear Dog is constantly in there. So if you have questions and you don't necessarily want to email us, this is a quicker, more safer option to do that. And a lot of the people that are in there will answer and talk with you and give you feedback of, oh yeah, do this, or oh yeah, do that. And it's just a lot easier and a little bit more fun. Oh, go ahead.
also,
sorry.
if you're looking for artists to commission, there's a lot of very good artists in that Telegram group that I'm in there, but also there is a bunch of other artists who are constantly posting work and commissions they're working on and things. So you will have like a big selection with a lot of different price ranges and things.
Oh yeah, definitely. Keep in mind, with our Straight from the Muzzle chat group, we do have a new system in place, which is working out really well now. Thank goodness. Basically, when you ask to join, it sends us a little notification saying someone's requested to join. And in that particular case, we'll reach out to you and ask you a series of questions or just kind of something to see if you'll respond. It'd be best if you can respond as soon as possible, because after 24 hours, I just remove the request.
Yeah, although I will say, if your account is like blatantly a real account, yeah, then I will just add you. Normally, I won't worry about sending you questions. So if you've got things like a regular looking username, you've got like a furry icon, and you've had like a few icons in the past, it's an older account, you've got like your name, age, and things. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be age, but you've got some information listed in the bio, then the chances are we'll just add you.
Yeah. And Dear Dog and I are the ones that are basically vetting people in and out. We're doing this because we got, was it last month or was it in
It's
September?
been a problem for a while now, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's on and off. It's been on and off for a few years, I think, really.
We've just been getting spammed by spam accounts and
a lot of bots.
And it's been really difficult. The last 2 months, it's just been an influx, and it was just like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore.
Every day we were having to ban loads of accounts and things. And
yeah, it was awful. But I think we've fixed that problem.
I think so, yeah. It seems like it's worked very well.
Seems to work. So yeah, you can also reach us out on Twitter. We're at From the Muzzle. I know not a lot of people are using Twitter, but we're still there. We also have a Blue Sky, which should be Straight from the Muzzle, but we always link it in the information below, so you have that. Then our email, which is talktothemuzzle@gmail.com, which I check once a week or once every 2 weeks, because there's a lot sometimes. Any last wishes that you want to say?
I think just remember that artists are people too. Just speak to them how you'd want to be spoken to, I guess. Maybe speak to them in a way that you'd speak to any kind of person who you're requesting a service from, be that a retail assistant or a cashier, whatever. Yeah, just be respectful, be kind, have patience. That's it, I think.
Yeah. As always, we thank you guys for listening, and we will see you on our next episode, which probably will be in the new year.
Ooh.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.